Hello, YouTube coin collectors and stackers. Today we're going to be talking about inflation. And instead of using boring charts and graphs and Excel spreadsheets and all this stuff to talk about how bad inflation is, we're going to use props and we're going to use real life examples. And I'm going to demonstrate using props like this 1897 Sears Catalog, this 130-year-old piggy bank that eats money. This will be the federal government eating your money. We have some gold coins here. We have some silver coins, Morgans and Peace dollars, some paper money, some more paper money off camera. And let's dive in. First of all, before we get started, please like and subscribe. I always wait till the end to say that, but I'd really appreciate it. Trying to grow the channel, get this information out to more people. So let's dive in. So why do we care about inflation? Of course, when we go to the grocery store and we start to try to buy things and we notice that the price of eggs is going up and the price of milk is going up, the price of gas and all of these things apparently are going up. We think about inflation. And one of the most famous times in inflation, other than say like the $1 trillion Zimbabwe note that you can see that's highly collectible now, we go back to the 1920s to Germany, who was paying all sorts of debts off from World War I and so forth. And there was all this fallout and they had a really, really severe bout of hyperinflation. There are photos of people with wheelbarrows of paper money going to buy things. And many people insisted on being paid twice a day because they would work in the morning. They would want to go out on their lunch break to spend their money before it lost more value by the end of the day. That's how bad it was. And very quickly, what would cost you a mark became 5 marks, became 10, on to 1,000. And before long, it took 20,000 to buy what 1,000 used to buy. And then it was 1,000,000. And look at this, I'm a millionaire. I'm a millionaire in defunct paper money from the 1920s. Took 1,000,000. 1,000,000 soon became 2,000,000 to buy what 1,000,000 would buy. Then 5,000,000 to buy what 1,000,000 would buy. And then 100 million to buy what used to cost a mark. So people would have wheelbarrows full of this paper money. And hyperinflation happens, all of a sudden. It's kind of one of my favorite quotes from The Sun Also Rises by Ernest Hemingway is when one of the characters is asked how he became bankrupt, his answer was, gradually, then suddenly. Well, that's how hyperinflation happens, gradually, then suddenly. So let's dive in here with some real examples. Using this 1897 Sears and Roebuck catalog, I actually found something in here you can still buy today. And I will tell you, that was not easy. As we look through here, really cool. I mean, this is such a walk down, like, I'm not memory lane, I wasn't alive then, but it's such a crazy walk through history, I guess you can still sort of get lawnmowers like that. But in looking through here, I'm going, okay, what is there? Yeah, there's hammers and tools and things, but you can't say like, they didn't have fiberglass handles back then or some of the stuff we have today. So what is in here that you could still potentially buy today? Obviously, the clothes are different, the boots are different, and so on. So as I was looking through here, we're going to skip all the way to the guns. And not just say, well, it is a specific gun, and it's a kid's gun, and it is the Daisy air rifle. You're going to shoot your eye out. If you were a kid in 1897, and you saved up 69 cents right here, and paid for 35 cents postage, you could be the proud owner of this Daisy air rifle. So what does that look like in terms of money? So in 1897, you might have had a shiny new Morgan dollar, maybe like this one from 1896. You could have bought your Daisy air rifle with one of those. Perhaps you had a gold coin like this Gold Princess. You could have bought your Daisy air rifle with that. You may have even had a silver certificate like this one. Of course, this was from 1899, but you get the idea. So essentially, back in 1897, this $1 paper note, this silver dollar, and this gold dollar would essentially buy you a Daisy air rifle. So I looked online today, and this Daisy air rifle is still available. Here it is, right from Daisy's website. $35.90 with tax and shipping, that puts this guy right at about $50 for a Daisy air rifle. So, bye-bye Black Eagle Silver Note. So what is that in terms of today? Well, of course, that's a 50 smackaroo. It's the equivalent of 2 Morgan dollars. And if you had one of these and you cashed it in, today it would buy you 3 Daisy air rifles, because the closing cost of gold today puts this little tiny coin at $147.02 melt. So let's just round it up. So say, for Daisy air rifle, this will buy you 3. This will buy you the same Daisy air rifle and 50 of these, right? So essentially 2 to 1. This is negative 3 to 1. And then this is 50 to 1. That's pretty massive inflation over time, as as one could argue. But let's go and actually look at this in terms of what do these things buy over time. So let's put our coins back on this side, and we'll put the little dollar over here. And for comparison's sake, we are going to look at this nice 1908, and I apologize, there's hair from my dog on my glove, 1908 gold Indian $5 gold coin. So if we have this here, back in 1907 when that came out, more or less, you didn't have inflation between 1897 and 1907, so you would get yourself 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And zooming out a hair, you could also trade all of that in for one of these. So this is and it's a little beat up, but it's a 1914 $5 large note. So this essentially was worth the same in and around 1907, 13, 14, more or less the same. As we move forward, we kind of go through some iterations. Great Depression comes along, and by 1932, the ratio starts to shift, where now it takes 8 to buy this, 8 paper dollars to buy this, or to buy 5 of these. The ratio here hasn't changed too much. In 1933, FDR says, nope, you can't have any of these anymore. We're going to take them all back, and then we're going to reset the value. So they buy all the gold back. They reset the value, raise it by 75%. So from essentially $20 to $35. They recall it all, with some exceptions, of course, but they recall the gold. And now we're at a situation when this happens where it starts to look more like this after the revaluation of the gold. When we get up to 1973, Nixon takes us off the gold standard in 71. In 73, they say, oh, you can have gold again. What happens in 1973 is that we now go to 24. And it now takes 9 of these to buy 1 of these. So we go from 1 to 9 to 24. Then this really strange thing happens in 1980 with the Hunt brothers. Hunt brothers come along, they run up the price of silver, right? They run it all up. And this is what happens. Now it only takes 3 of these silver dollars here, 3, to buy 1 $5 gold piece. But the economics over here change dramatically, because now it takes $153. So let me spread this out so you can see it. $153 to buy that same $5 gold piece. Gold crashes, silver crashes, and it's all sort of in the doldrums for more or less 25 years. And then it starts to break back out. So what happens then is, and we'll move some of this out of the way so that we can stay organized here. So what happens then is we get into 2008, and this $5 gold piece, now it's going to take $14.5 of these to buy this, or, if you please, and we'll switch up some of the stuff here. You can buy it for $220. So we've gone from 5 to 8.25 to 9 to 24 to 153, and now we're at 218 paper dollars to buy that $5 gold piece. Just 5 years later, the silver to gold stays the same, 14. Actually, it creeps up a little bit, so just for argument's sake, maybe it's 15 to 1 now. It takes 15 of these old Morgan and Peace dollars to buy that $5 gold piece. But, again, we go from 2008, where it's $218, and now all of a sudden, it's only a couple years later, but we're now at 353. Let's jump ahead to 2020. By 2020, the gold to silver ratio had adjusted again, and it would take you essentially 6 more of these to buy that same dollar. And you can see, hopefully you can see it down here. I'll push them up so you can see it, just to get the visual of what's happening here. And $450. Where's my 50? Where'd it go? Oh, it's over here. 450, sorry, to buy that same gold piece. We want to fast forward again to 2024, which was just last year, and now it's going to cost us $600. We still say at 21 of these silver pieces to get that same gold piece. So 600 to 21 to 1. And in 2025, we're going to add one more, but we're going to add 2 more. And I can't, what, am I out of hundreds? Yes, I am. Well, it's going to take all the rest of my money here. So essentially, where we're at is, when this gold piece came out, just to recap, it was one of these for one of these for one of these. Today, for one of these, we'll just get another look at it here. For one of these, it's going to cost you 22 of these, or 763 of these. And that is inflation, and that is why and how this hidden tax we call inflation eats your money. As the government little piggy there, eat your money, bye-bye. And it's a hidden tax. So hopefully, when in terms of inflation, what we're seeing here is that gold holds its value over time and typically buys the same thing. In the case of this Daisy air rifle, it didn't just continue to buy a Daisy air rifle. Essentially, it now buys 3 of these. And silver held its own for quite a long time in the ratios, right up until about the mid-30s. Then there was a breakout, kind of held its own, through about 2013. It broke out again, and it's been more or less steady, the gold to silver ratio. Of course, it's been up and down, but more or less steady since 2020. But this continues to erode. Just from 2020 to 2025 alone, we've gone from 442 to buy one of these to 763 to buy one of these in just 5 years. Even in just the last year, it's almost $150 more. Well, I hope you find this helpful. Again, it's much better for me to think about things this way than looking at charts and graphs and all sorts of boring spreadsheets. Let me know what you think about this in the comments below. Thank you, as always, for watching, and happy collecting.